Hello everyone, I am Parikshit Saikia and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CATalyst. A wonderful Sunday morning and we are going to solve some really amazing and brilliant LRDI questions for the IIFT. Remember, this month of December we have started a new initiative, which we believe will help you crack your IIFT exam. 100 most important LRDI questions for the IIFT. The Unacademy Intelligence Board has done a lot of research and have come up with a set of selected questions tailor-made for you, and these are questions which have repeated multiple times in past papers. As always, the first thing I'm going to tell you is give me 5 seconds to ensure that I'm streaming live before we get started with today's session. Okay, I think we are streaming live and we are good to start. One notification at the start. We in Unacademy are really proud of the learners, right? Crack CAT 2020 with flying colors. So you see some of the learners out here are close to 100 percentiler. 100 percentiler in DILR and a 99.9 plus percentiler overall, right? And you could definitely be one among them, right? The next picture could definitely be among from amongst you. And yes, if you want to prepare for your interviews, your knowledge preparation for the interviews, knowledge sessions, a course starts today at 10 p.m. right? At 9 p.m. today, January 10th. So if you want to access any of these courses, you can always use this code Parikshit Saikia. You will get 10% off if you subscribe to Unacademy Plus using my referral code. Okay, another notification. The Unacademy Combat is scheduled today, right? 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So a lot of prize money are to be won. 50,000 first prize, 30,000 second prize, and 15,000 the third prize. So you never know, these could just be meant for you, and you can access Unacademy Combat for free. Just that you need to register as a first time user with a new mobile number, okay? And if you register with the new mobile number, you can use this invite code Parikshit Saikia. You'll be able to access Unacademy Combat absolutely free and compete for these prizes. Also, new batches are starting, right? Weekday batch, Achiever GDPI batch, and an absolute batch for Maharashtra CED. So there is almost something meant for almost every one of you, right? And also the schedule for today. Remember, 7 p.m. today, Sunday, we have a free class on IIFT Quants. Remember, YouTube, we are doing LRDI. And in Unacademy free special classes, we are doing Quants. Okay, so make sure that you join me live for this free class. We are going to solve some very important previous year and mock IIFT questions. Let's get started with the session. Okay. Let's have this question on your screen, right? It's a LR question, okay, from a previous year paper. Let's try it out. The panel at IIM plans to interview 8 candidates, okay, A to H, which include 4 engineers, 2 commerce graduates, 1 arts graduate, and a doctor. Each candidate has scored a different percentile in the CAT and will be called at 40-minute intervals starting from 1:40 p.m. Now, moment I read the first paragraph, remember the time is very important. Moment you read the first paragraph, you got to notice the variables. So one variable definitely are the candidates. Do you agree? There are 8 candidates, so that got to be the first variable. The second is, what are their profession? What are their graduation? So commerce students, engineers, arts, and a doctor. So that's the second variable. And the third variable is the time period, right? Remember, they are coming at 40-minute time slots. So let's draw a table. Remember, there are 8 people. You got to map them, right? So let's start. 40-minute time period is what you are looking at. So starting from 1:40. So 1 is 1:40. Next is after 1:40, 2:20. Next 3 p.m. Next will be 3:40. Next will be 4 p.m. Then comes 4:40. Then comes 5:20. And then comes 6 p.m. right? So 1, 2, 3, 3:40. Sorry, this is 4:20. Just need to modify the time. 4:20. Then you have got 5 p.m. right? 5:40, and then you have got a 6:20, and then you have got a 6:20, right? Okay, these are the time periods. Remember, what are the variables? One is the persons, right? Next is their score, and the third is their graduation, right? So let's draw a table. So it always helps if you are able to put the data in a format that can be easily read and understood. Right? Okay. So I think this will help. Okay. Now let's go to the conditions. It is known neither the first nor the last interviewee is an engineer. So whenever you read something, please note it down. So can I say the first person is not an engineer? Okay, I put a not sign. And similarly, the last person is not an engineer. Correct? Next, the Dr. C cannot come before 5 p.m. So if he cannot come before 5 p.m., it means he comes at 5 p.m. or after 5 p.m. Will you agree? At 5 p.m. or after 5 p.m. So it would be C who comes at, remember C is a doctor, and then he comes at 5, either 5 or 5:40, or he will come at 6:20. Agreed, right? 5, 5:40 or 6:20. Next, the engineer with a 98.35 comes at 3 p.m. Okay, let's write it down. Engineer, so the graduation is engineer. Remember, he's the score of 98.35. So 0.3 has also been taken care of. So whenever I read something, I note it down so that you don't have to reread the same thing again and again. B comes at 3:40 p.m. and has a 98.87. So this is B, 3:40, and score is 98.87. Correct? Number 4. Next, number 5. F is an engineer who scored 99.43. So let's talk about F. I don't know the type. So F, he is an engineer, and then he scores 99.43. 0.5 I have noted down. Number 6. H is an arts graduate with a score of 99.97. So H is arts and has a score of 99.97. So 0.6 also has been taken care of. And 7. A is a commerce graduate who comes at 5 p.m. So A is a commerce graduate who comes at 5 p.m. Now first thing, immediately you can look about C. Talk about C. What about C? Remember, C comes not before 5 p.m. So we said he comes either at 5 or 5:40 or 6:20. But now we know A is coming at 5 p.m. So C definitely cannot be coming at 5. So he must be coming either at 5:40 or at 6:20. So all the points have been taken care of. Okay. Now let's go to the questions. First question, number 1. Okay, one more thing that you need to remember is there are 4 engineers, right? This data also needs to be captured. So 4 engineers are there, 2 commerce graduates are there, 1 arts graduate, and then 1 doctor. So every data has been taken care of. Now let's go to the questions. First question, if D is a commerce graduate who comes at 5:40, let's put D. D is a commerce graduate, so graduation is commerce, and it comes at 5:40 p.m. Which of the following need not be true? When they say need not be true, it means not always true. Sometimes it might be true, but not always. Now let's talk about it. If D is a commerce graduate, comes at 5:40, remember C comes either at 5:40 or at 6:20. Now if D comes at 5:40, C must be coming at 6:20. So C is coming, and remember C is a doctor who comes at 6:20. This is something I can fill. Also, if you remember, there are 4 engineers. Remember, there are 4 engineers. Now, if there are 4 engineers and the first place cannot be an engineer. First place cannot be an engineer. So, how many vacant places are remaining? 1 place, 2 place, 3 place. So all these 3 vacant places have to be engineers. Why? Because there are total of 4 engineers and I have filled up only 1 engineer. So 3 vacant places and 3 engineers required. All 3 must be engineers. So let's fill up. Engineer, engineer, engineer. Correct? I think this much we can fill. Now let's look at the questions. Options. C comes at 6:20 p.m. Yes, is it true? Remember, question is asking need not be true. C comes at 6:20 p.m. which is perfectly true. Which is perfectly true. So A cannot be your answer. B. F comes at 4:20 p.m. F. Think about F. F is an engineer. So F can come at 4:20. Perfect. Or he might come at 3 o'clock, because remember F is just an engineer. That's the only clue I have. Oh, 99.43. So need not be at 3 p.m. because 3 p.m. guy has 98.35. So F might come at 2:20 also. Will you agree? 2:20. F is an engineer and has 99.43. So he might come at 2:20 or at 4:20. Perfect. There are 2 possibilities. So option B need not be always true. Need not be always true. So B is your answer. You get it? What about C? Let's look at the other options. C. H comes at 1:40. Will you agree? H. Who is H? An arts guy. Remember, every other place is filled. Every other place is filled, right? And remember, this is a doctor. The doctor, I'll put it here. The doctor is also here. So the only possibility is definitely the arts guy will be here. And H is an arts guy. So option C is always true. What about option D? G comes before A does. Definitely yes. Why? Remember, A comes at 5:20. And for G, and all places after 5 p.m. are filled. So obviously, if I have to fill G, wherever G comes, I don't know. But it has to be before A. Why? Because positions after A are already filled. Right? So option B is your answer because it is sometimes true but not always true. So answer is option B for the first one. Did you get it? Got it, right? So whatever data I took from this particular question, I'm going to rub it. I'm going to rub it. Okay. So whatever is black colored was the data that I captured from this particular question. Right? Let's look at the second question. Let's now look at the second question. Okay. If G a commerce graduate, so we are at question number 2. We are at question number 2. Okay. If G a commerce graduate with 99.87 comes at 2:20 p.m. So let's put it G. He is a commerce graduate and he comes at 2:20 p.m. Then which of the following must be true? Now first thing, I have put G and commerce at 2:20. Now remember, there are 4 engineers. The first place and the last place cannot be engineers, right? First and the last cannot be engineers. So how many vacant places? Still we have got 3 vacant places. 3 more vacant places excluding the engineers. So if there are 3 more vacant places excluding the engineers and we got to fill 3 more engineers, remember the only possibility is this must be the engineers. These must be the engineers. Will you agree? These must be the engineers. Correct? Now this much you can fill. This much you can fill. And remember, C was a doctor. C is a doctor who comes either at 5:40 or at 6:20. Now the person who comes at 5:40 is an engineer. But C is a doctor. Hence C cannot be coming at 5:40. Definitely C must be coming at 6:20. C must be coming at 6:20. So this is also something that I can fill. Now only one person is remaining. 4 engineers are filled. Then two commerce graduates are already filled. 1 doctor is already filled. So the only person remaining is the artist who will come at the arts guy who will come at 1:40. Right? Now let's look at the options. Which of the following must be true? Must be true. Let's start. C comes at 5:40 p.m. Have a look. In our case, C is the last person to be coming. So obviously C cannot be coming at 5:40. He comes at 6:20. So option A cannot be answer. H comes at 4:20 p.m. H. Where is H? 4:20. Remember, H comes at 4:20. What is H? H is the arts guy. Arts guy. And the arts guy does not come at 4:20. He rather comes at 1:40. He rather comes at 1:40. So option B is also incorrect. Remember 4:20, we have an engineer coming. while H is an arts guy. So option B is also incorrect. C, B is an engineer. B is an engineer. Perfect. Can you see this? Can you see B? This is B and B is an engineer. That is absolutely correct. Option C is your answer. Got it? Look at option D just out of interest. F comes at 5:40 p.m. Who is F? F is an engineer. F is an engineer with a 99.43. With a 99.43. So definitely it might be possible. Remember, might be possible. F can be coming at 5:40 with a 99.43, or engineers also come at 4:20. So F can also be an engineer who comes at 4:20. So if they talk about must be true, it need not be always true. It might be true or it might not be true. So option D is not always true. Hence option C is your answer. Got it? Let's look at the next one. Let's look at the next one. So anything in black color I'm going to rub, because black color is the information I took from this particular question, right? This particular question. So better to rub that so that you don't carry over information from one question to the other unless otherwise told to you explicitly, right? So I'm just rubbing whatever is in black color. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Let's look at the next one, right? If G is an engineer who is immediately followed by E, which of the following must be true? Now remember, G is an engineer. So basically I need two consecutive places, G and E. Will you agree? G and E, I need two consecutive places, out of which G is an engineer. Right? Now think about it. Definitely G cannot be coming at 140. G cannot be coming at 140. Why? Because the person who comes at 140, remember, is not an engineer. Not an engineer. So G cannot be coming at 140. Can G come at 220? Definitely possible. Why? Because I have got two consecutive blank spaces. So 220 is possible. Any other blank space? 540. Can G come at 540? Remember, I am looking at two consecutive blank spaces. So the other possibility is 540 and 620. But again, 540, is it possible? 540 and 540, is it possible? Just imagine, if G comes at 540, then E would be coming at 620. G at 540, E at 620. But in that case, what about C? Remember, C has to come either at 540 or at 620. There is no place for C. There is no place for C. Perfect. It means G and E cannot be occupying these two places because C needs to occupy one of them. So the only two consecutive vacant places are 2:20 and 3 p.m. So G has to be here and E has to be here. Get it? Now the question says, which of the following, be very careful of the words, must be true. When they say must be true, it means always true. Doesn't matter whatever the scenario, always true. Let's start. F comes at 4:20 p.m. F comes at 4:20 p.m. Remember, F is an engineer. So engineers, not necessarily. He might come at 4:20 or he might also come at, let's say, 5:40, right? At also 5:40. So need not be always true. What about option B? There are at least minimum, at least means minimum 3 people who have scored above E in the CAT. So what is the score of E? What is the score of E? Remember, E has scored 98.35. So you know E score 98.35. How many scores are there greater than E? There is one score out here. So let's see the scores which are greater than E. There is one score 98.87. There is another score 99.43. And there is another score 99.97. Perfect. This is definitely correct. We don't need the positions of the people. But remember, E has got 98.35. So there are minimum 3 people. 99.43, 99.97 and 98.87, right? Who has scored above E. Definitely option B is always true. Always true. What about option C? Remember, this is just out of curiosity, okay? In the exam, you get one option correct, tick, move to the next. But I must also tell you why the other options are wrong, because I'm teaching you, right? So later someone should not have a doubt. C. C is the last person to be interviewed. Last person to be interviewed. Is it necessarily? Remember, C can either come at 5:40 or at 6:20. So C might or might not be the last person. Question is saying must be true. So it might not be true, right? So option C cannot be your answer. What about option D? H is the first person to be interviewed. Is it necessarily? Is it necessary? No. Why? Remember, H need not necessarily be the first person. He can also be the last person. Remember, even the last person is not an engineer. So H can also be the last person. So only option B is always true. Got it? Okay. So answer is option B for the third one. So I think you got it. I think you got it. So remember, I see some of you are joining me live, but I think it would be better if you join me live at 9:30. What happens is, if you join in live 9:30 dot, right, when I start, you'll be able to follow the case slate from the very starting, right? But if you join later, sometimes you might have a problem understanding the case slate. But definitely I will suggest that go through the recording even if you have joined late, and in case of any doubts, okay, you can always ping in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay. So thank you so much, and in case you have liked the video, do please hit the like button, because that's the only way you tell me that you have enjoyed the session and I can continue to take more and more such sessions, right? So keep preparing. IIFT just 2 weeks away, a Sunday today and just one more Sunday in between, and then you have the IIFT, right? So keep preparing, and remember, hard work always pays. And also remember, today 7 p.m. Today 7 p.m. we have got a free class. We have got a free class on Unacademy, right? So it's a completely free class, right? It's a completely free class. So please make sure to join me live today evening at 7 p.m. We will do IIFT Quants question. It's gonna be a 1 hour session. It's gonna be a 1 hour free session today on Unacademy. So just go to my profile. My name is Parikshit Saikia. Just go to my profile, filter on plus, and you'll be able to view me live today at 7 p.m. on Unacademy, free class at 7 p.m. Quants, okay, for IIFT. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next session. Thank you and take care. Bye for now.